You are watching Access Support County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the May 11th meeting of the Michigan City Park Board. You can get more information for this meeting by looking at www.accesslaportcounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for... You bet.
Okay, I move for adjournment.
Yeah, Brian,
we start this party?
Yeah.
All right.
You brought the treats? Oh, I see you got them in that bag. Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm glad you brought that big bag full of stuff.
Hey man, 10 o'clock is fast.
It is.
Thank you. I just knew I had 1 minute to spare. That's fast.
good evening and welcome everyone to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Wednesday, May 11th. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll make the roll call. Mrs. Sperling.
Here.
Mr. Freeze.
Here.
And Mr. Lent. Here. All right. Now everyone's accounted for. We have the minutes from our previous meeting of April 6th and April 20th. So they were prepared and presented prior to the meeting. So unless there are any corrections, changes, or additions, do we have a motion to approve the minutes for both meetings?
I would move that we accept the minutes from April 20th and April 6th.
I'll second it.
Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Any project updates tonight?
No, sir.
Any old business we need to attend to? Any table business? Very good. We'll move right into new business. The first one is the North Point Pavilion 2022 rental agreement and fees.
Mr. Latchford, this is an agreement that we've been working on but have not been able to complete the corrections and the communication with the Sunset Grill manager, and I would like to table it for that reason.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, do you have a motion to table?
I so move that we, I so move that we table the 2022 North Point Pavilion Reservation and Use Agreement until our next meeting.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Sperling?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And they'll be tabled until our May 25th meeting. All right, next up is the fitness in the park. I'm sorry, I skipped B. Michigan City Area School Summer Feeding Program.
Yes, sir. This is a program that is sponsored by the Michigan City Area Schools. Received notification from Mrs. Barbara Eason Watkins and Nicole Santana as the food service director that they would like to, as they do annually, but might have missed last year, feed the young kids 18 and under at our parks, Joe Hawkins Park and Tall Timbers Park. They're requesting the use of the parks Monday through Friday from June 13th to July 29th.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments from the board?
I know we have done this in the past, and pardon me, it's a very worthwhile thing, so I think that it's something we should continue.
This is from like breakfast through lunch.
Good question. It doesn't state. Ed, do you know the hours that they'll be at the park providing food?
It does not say, Mr. Latchford. I want to say that this is a lunchtime feeding, is what I was told, I think, verbally. So I would think that it would be somewhere between 11 and noon is my guess.
Maybe if this passes tonight, you could add it to our website and somehow communicate it as best we can. That would be
Yes,
great.
sir.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would move that we accept this request for Michigan City area schools to offer free lunch to children under 18 years of age at Joe Hawkins and Tall Timbers.
I'll second.
Mr. Freeze,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mrs. Spurling,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Look forward to that again. Thank you. Next up, fitness in the park proposal.
Yes, this is a proposal that was brought to my attention for fitness in Washington Park. This is a group that would like to have sessions of workouts in the park. They would like to start before the park opens to paying customers, and they would like to not charge anybody for the sessions of working out. And this is Miss Clifton that would like to speak or answer any questions. You can step up to the podium for the board to ask questions.
Good evening and welcome. Just please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Giovanni Clifton. And what was the other thing?
Oh, your address, please.
319 East 9th Street, Apartment C, Michigan City, Indiana.
Thank you and welcome again.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from the board, or would you like to, any general statements?
Well, I just want to thank you all for having me and allow me to present to you all and considering my proposal.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Familiar with most of this except the, what is it, HIIT or HLLT?
It's a HIIT class.
Yeah.
So we may do 5 reps of squats, 5 reps of jumping jacks over a course of an hour. So
Could you walk us through or walk me through what would a typical Saturday be for this hour? You do all these items, so it's Zumba, HIIT, drumsticks, group walks, and stretch sessions every week. You're different.
no,
elements.
we'll have a schedule. Maybe one week we'll do drumming, one week we'll do stretches, one week we will do HIIT class. So I will make a schedule for that. And then we will kick it off with prayer. I may have a scripture, and then we will go straight into the workout class. And then at the end, we'll lay out and do like a meditation, just like a cool down. So
Exactly where would you like to have this? I mean, where on the beach? Is this like in the Fetters Alley area?
Yes.
Or
yes, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Fetters Alley.
Are you talking on the grass?
Yes, sir.
There is also some workout stations there now.
Oh, yes. Yes, it
Do you
is.
plan on using those as well? Or
No.
you have your own schedule?
Yes. Yes.
Approximately how long, I see you're starting at 7:30 a.m. Is it an hour, 2 hours?
Yes, we will end at 8:30.
Thank you.
You need a power, electricity.
Yes. For music, I will bring my own system out and have a wireless mic, and that'll be it. So just electric.
So electric and Fetters Alley is available at the shelter there.
At the shelter.
Anywhere else?
At the tennis shelter it is, I think.
You had a tennis shelter, and then you had the Exchange Club
That's
shelter.
what I was talking
Oh.
about.
The Exchange Club shelter.
Is there electricity?
We just put it there last year.
That's okay.
So the only risk may be if you need electric and that shelter happens to be rented for the weekend, then they would have priority, first right
Yes, sir.
for that. But you could communicate with the park department. You would know in advance,
Okay.
at least the Friday before.
Okay. That'll work.
Have you done this before?
This will be the first time.
What crowd-wise? What do you anticipate?
I anticipated growing.
Okay. Yeah,
I anticipated it being a huge event eventually. I just really want to empower, I say women, but it's for families as well. Even if they can come out and just really, we take so much time doing everything else but focusing on ourselves. And that's what I really want to focus on, just building ourselves up, doing this just hour out of the week. So
You kind of answered my question when you said family, so there isn't an age group. You can bring my small grandchildren or
Absolutely.
bring my grandmother.
Absolutely.
When will it start and end as far as the season? Or?
It'll be the summer season starting May 21st. And I didn't think about it, an end date. Hold on 1 second. Could we go into October 1st?
And even though you're going to just take donations, obviously everyone will be subject to the parking fees or whatever to get into the park, right? Or, oh, you said this is before we open.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Are people allowed to go in the park before we open?
It opens at 6.
And you can walk and stuff like that.
So
I
they
thought it
don't.
opened at 6. Yeah, so there's no problem there then.
So we don't start charging till what time to get in?
8 o'clock.
At 8?
8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Any other questions?
yeah, real quick. I mean, just a comment. I hope that this grows. I see this in LaPorte. There's a little park they have right there on Pine Lake as I'm driving to work. And I think they do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But a group of people just get out there. They're doing Zumba and all kinds of stuff out there. So I hope this grows.
Thank you.
I think this would be pretty cool. So good luck.
Thank you
That's
so much.
really what I want to say. I hope you have a flyer or anything like that.
Not yet.
Okay.
I wanted to get approved first.
Okay.
So,
That is a good strategy. But I hope this is really successful. I hope it works out for you.
Thank you so much,
All right.
sir.
Just one other point of clarity. So from the park department, your only ask really is for access to electricity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Comment?
Oh, not necessarily, but yes, I'll chime in.
Okay.
Luke
Hi.
sounds wonderful, so kudos to you for reaching out. We have to be consistent with all of our programs, and unfortunately, Miss Easton is gone, and we need to talk to her about what the parameters are that this involves. So all exercise programs that are on the beach, we have to abide by certain parameters, whether it's the insurance, the waivers, whatever.
Mhm.
So she's not going to be back till next week,
Okay.
but we should talk to her about that first.
We could give approval contingent upon satisfaction of meeting the other requirements that we didn't consider tonight, because it's more administrative at that point.
Exactly, we could.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding us of those other requirements.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the parameter of insurance or something, which, obviously, who would be responsible if there's an injury or something?
So there may be waivers, there is a whole host of things for us to consider.
Okay.
As you can understand.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question about that. I was wondering about insurance and all that. And because anyone could go to the beach or any of the parks and just bring a group of friends and do Zumba, right?
Sure.
And no one would have to have a waiver or anything like that. Does it?
It's an organized event.
So yeah, I guess that's where you come in as far as that
Yeah.
fine line between
Yes.
an organized event and just people assembling. Is it?
So if we're gonna do this every week.
Yeah.
And
So
if
you-
we promote it with a flyer, which we'd be happy to do, assuming we can come to an agreement.
Okay.
If you do develop a flyer and it's approved through the board tonight, then we could help put it on the website or post it in City Hall.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have one more question. Do you have a business or is this just something that you're doing for?
So I just got started, so I haven't went through with the LLC and things like that yet. I just got certified with Revelation Wellness. And so I haven't established a business yet, but that's in the making.
You said we could vote on this contingent on the discussion with Shannon and with Laura.
Right. Making sure there's compliance with our established
Right,
insurance and waiver procedures. Any questions from the public tonight? All right, seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would move that, excuse me, we permit the fitness in the park proposal with the contingent on compliance with procedures that Shannon and Laura present. I don't know what all they would be, but contingent on that.
Insurance and the waivers.
Insurance and waivers, yeah.
I'll second.
Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mrs. Spurling.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move right on to Life as a Beach proposal, item D.
A young gentleman, a businessman in Michigan City, approached me with a request to rent items from Washington Park property. I asked him to be here tonight. He has revised his proposal to add certain things that you reviewed already. He is not here as of yet. We could do three things. We could table it, we could wait till he comes back, or we could start without him. That's entirely up to you, Mr. President.
Well, I don't know about the other board members, but I do have a lot of questions.
Me too.
So unless you're capable of and willing to address them all now, but I would probably recommend if he's not here to table it.
I agree.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I so move that we table the proposal until our next meeting, when Mr. Nelson can be here to answer the questions that obviously all of us have about this. And right now, we don't have enough information. So that would be my motion to table until the next meeting.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurling?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So that'll be tabled to May 25th meeting. Right. Next up is the Pride Fest license agreement.
Okay, this is a festival that has occurred before I started working for the city, so I'm not real familiar with this festival, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm not quite sure how many years it has been in existence, but I was told that the young lady in charge of this fest would be here tonight to answer questions. There they are. Okay. That's about all I can say about it. I'm very interested in this festival because I have not seen it. And if you would like to step up and state your name.
Good evening and welcome. And if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Sue Harrison. Oh, my address, I'm sorry, 323 Garrettson Ave. And I'm Julie Geyer, 2214 Maple Street.
Welcome. Here's an opportunity if you'd like just to maybe tell us a little about the event and what the plans are. It looks like there's some entertainment and food and beverage.
All of those things. So this is our third year of Pride Fest. We were off for the last 2 years, obviously. It is open to people, young and old, families. Everybody is open and available to come. We will have food trucks. We will have music, a drag show later in the afternoon. We have some live performances before that.
Vendors.
We have vendors, health vendors, people, retail vendors. Kind of just a smattering of a good time.
Excellent. And this is on June 18th.
June
When's it
18th.
start? And when's it end?
1 to 9.
1 to 9. Thank you. Is there admission?
There is no, just the park fees to get parked.
Very good. Thank you.
Now, you had this a couple of years ago, if I remember right.
Yes.
And then the pandemic came in.
Yes.
And
So 2019, we had, so I didn't mean to interrupt you. 2019, we did have at Guy Foreman, and then 2018, we had at the You Are Beautiful lot there. So this will be our second time in this location, but the third one.
Yeah, the Guy Foreman is probably a better.
It's perfect.
Yes,
It's
it
really beautiful. Everything about it was amazing. Shade being
I was
number
gonna say
one.
shade.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
shade being number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions from the board?
I do have one question. With the drag show portion of it, there's going to be family and children there, and the park will be surrounded by children. So
It's completely family friendly. Completely, yes.
the drag show is.
Yes. No naughty words, no funny nothing.
Any other questions or comments?
How many do you anticipate? attendance, spectators altogether?
3,000 is the number we're shooting for. We would love that to be our number. It's very well attended, very well attended, and it's such an open, broad time that there are people that'll come earlier, then they go to the beach, or people go to the beach and then come in. So it kind of is. It's not necessarily 3,000 people there at one time. It is throughout a day attendance, and we keep track of how many people are there. I think it was about 25 or 2,700 last time.
Yes.
So we're hoping to, get some more participants this year.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? All right, seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would so move that we okay the 2022 Pride Fest at the amphitheater on Saturday, June the 18th. And the times are, what time are you starting?
1 to 9.
1 to 9.
If there's no other second, I will second. So, Mr. Lang?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
And Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
Good luck, Sue
Thank you.
and Julie.
We'll see you all there.
Right. All right, the YMCA Fitness in Washington Park proposal.
Okay, 2 fitnesses in the park in 1 meeting.
That's a good
The
sign.
Yes, it is. The YMCA requested to me to come before the board, but they could not make it. The representative could not make it tonight. The YMCA and the park department obviously have a strong relationship and has for many years. This is a workout on the beach, very similar to the one that Mrs. Clifton announced for herself. The YMCA being a strong partner with us is something that we like to continue this relationship. It does say here that she would like to have every Tuesday beginning June 7th to July 26th for 8 weeks. Her workouts would be on a weekly rotation between 2 classes. Class 1, a sunrise stretch, and Class 2, a beach boot camp. Classes would be taught by certified instructors through the YMCA. Time of the class would be 7:30 to 8:15. This would be open to the community free of charge. The YMCA is also asking for permission to post yard signs around Washington Park to advertise. We would be happy to include the park department logo on the advertisement if desired. Upon approval, we will begin advertising to the community and our members. Any further questions, please let Mrs. Workman know if we have any questions. So in this case, I am not privy to the insurance policies that the YMCA have. I do know that the certified instructors is very important. That's something that you might want to consider too, as an instructor that is certified in resuscitation and whatnot. So I guess I would have to defer any other questions about insurance to Ms. Thornburg. Otherwise, I would recommend this as well as the other sessions in the park.
Thank you, Ed.
Yes, I would want the same thing, go through the checklist, so we're all on the same page, all of it's, right, all of it is the same regardless of the program.
So any motion to approve this tonight would be contingent upon the same administrative insurance waivers that we required under the fitness in the park.
I would just have some question. I understand stretch. I was in boot camp. I don't think that's what they're planning, is it?
I'm sure it feels like it.
I just kind of interested. I can understand on the beach, it's a little tougher to run and walk. So, sounds interesting.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question. The yard signs, I mean, I am all about promoting this. I think it sounds great, especially, the YMCA and, what you're doing. I think it sounds awesome to, let people know about this. But I don't know how that looks. I don't know. Again, I'm new, so I don't know what you do. I don't know if we should agree to that, or maybe there's one sign we could put up at the entrance or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe we need to create something in general for everything that's great going on down that park, like right at the entrance. Maybe there's something like a happy medium where we can meet people halfway with that. I think it's great to promote what we do have going on there, especially when it doesn't cost us anything. I mean, to have the program. So that's neat that they want to do that and that you want to do that. I think that's really cool. So maybe that's something that we should look at. But I don't know, do you usually allow yard signs? Because then everyone's going to be throwing their yard signs up along Fetters Alley on Lakeshore Drive, right? The politicians and the, yeah.
We typically don't allow them, but
Right.
if it's a sponsored program from the park, I could see some strategically well-placed signs. But I echo all your concerns and comments. If we want to get the word out that it's available, yet we don't want to
Yeah.
make it like yard signs
Right,
throughout the park.
right.
That takes away from the beauty of the park.
Mhm.
Would the YMCA be responsible for the printing of any signage as opposed to the Park and Recreation Department or the park in general?
I would think so, Phil. I wouldn't see how that would become a park department expense.
Yeah. And
So we could leave it up to the superintendent's judgment in terms of placement and number of signage. If we want to give that sort of preliminary approval for the yard signs, and again contingent upon superintendent's approval.
I would think with just a little comment about signage in the park, I agree with you that signs can start to look bad. And I think with the media, the ability to advertise elsewhere, we probably could consider not having too many signs or maybe limit the signs. I'm in agreement with that. I would discuss it with my director, Mr. Volz, too, to see if even signs last very long with large winds in that area.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Yeah. I'm not considered the board, but anyway, I would be concerned about the signs. I would put anybody up on the scroll, something like that. But like you said, come one, then everybody's going to want to come with yard signs, and then it puts you in a position where now you're choosing who to let put up signs and who not to. And it'll just put you in a bad way, I believe. So I would say if you want to do something, put that on the scroll, and things like that. But you can get into yard signs, and you can have a park full of Bryant Dabney for whatever. So I don't know if you want that.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions from the public? It's the pleasure of the board.
not sure what we're gonna do here. We're not tabling this.
No, I think there's a few requests. I think it's the request, there's two. One for the workout sessions on Tuesdays at 7:30, and then there's the second request for advertising. So you could tailor your, if you were to make a motion to approve, you could tailor it to approve the Tuesday morning 7:30, but not approve the yard signs.
Yeah.
And make a contingent upon the administrative.
Can it be all in one motion?
And wouldn't you also have to contingent upon what Laura was talking about before about insurance? We don't really know that yet.
Well, I'm sure the YMCA is.
I think so, but the motion should probably be contingent upon them complying with our administrative checklist of insurance and waivers. Good luck.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll move that with contingents on the insurance, that the YMCA is allowed to have this exercise program 7:30 to 8:15 on Tuesday, and not allow any signage at the park.
Might want some waivers on that too, so if you could just focus as an administrative checklist, like the president suggested, that would encompass all of the around.
Okay. And add to that, go through the administrative checklist with our attorney and the superintendent.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Freeze,
Yes.
Mrs. Spurling,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We wish them all the luck. It's nice to see some activity come back to the park. Just creating some more recreational opportunities for everyone here, citizens and guests. It's nice to see. All right, our next item is the Michigan City Area Schools request for a reduction in golf outing.
Thank you. Yes, this is the second year that Michigan City Area Schools would like to have their golf outing at Michigan City Municipal Golf Course. There is a fee for an outing, but due to the fact that Michigan City Park Department and the Michigan City Area Schools has also a great relationship, they're asking if we could reduce the price to $20 from a $20 fee that's normal for these type of outings. They say here their athletic department funds itself, and any single dollar we can save goes directly to supporting the student athlete. So I think it's for a very good cause, and I highly recommend that we reduce the cost for the Michigan City Area Schools golf outing.
Thank you, Ed. And I'll make one comment. Beyond the relationship that we have with Michigan City Area Schools, it's really a like-kind contribution because we utilize their facilities free of charge. And I think it's just truly right and just we reciprocate when we can. But it's important that there's established some like-kind contribution whenever we waive fees. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I agree with you 100%.
So I just know that a few years ago, I'm going to ask Drew a question here pretty quick, being a head coach. I know a few years ago, it's probably more than a few, that they passed a law or a referendum that the athletic department has to be self-sufficient. Before they used to be able to use, except for paying the coaches. But before, I can remember when I was coaching, I'd go in and say, well, I wouldn't need new uniforms. Great, order them. Now, in order to get any equipment, you have to pay for it. So all the coaches are hustling to have fundraisers. And in some instances, the student athlete has to pay a fee to even participate. So I'm all for this to reduce that cost. And Mr. White, could you enlighten us a little bit more on, as a head coach, what some of the obstacles are that you run across as far as cash goes?
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Been going to a lot of meetings of late. Haven't had the chance to interact, but no, obviously, Drew White, Director of Operations for Access Support County, and the girls golf coach at Michigan City High School. I believe that the motion that you have in front of you is in reference to the athletic department golf outing, which is a major fundraiser. Our athletic director, Craig Shaman, has done a tremendous job of facilitating this golf outing, which really does serve as a tremendous fundraiser. As Mr. Freeze has indicated, in a lot of ways, high school sports, it's dependent on money. And I think that I will go ahead and give kudos to the Michigan City Park Board because, I completed my 9th season this past fall, and the relationship that we've had with the Michigan City Municipal Golf Courses has been tremendous. And our girls, and I think that Jeff Edinger on the boys' side would definitely agree that basically anything that we need in order to put our girls my girls, his boys, in the best position to succeed, the golf course has always been there for us. And I cannot stress enough just how well Chris and Jared and everybody else out at the golf course has really made us feel at home, and anything that we've ever asked, we've always had it accommodated. But, I have done my best over the last 9 years to try to make golf as inexpensive for kids as I possibly can. And golf is inherently an expensive sport in a lot of ways. Just the green fees alone has, tends to really wear on the pocketbook. But having a home such as Municipal, Portage has played at Robinhurst Golf Course in Valpo for many years, and they just closed Robinhurst this winter, and so they are now looking for a new home. But again, I mean, we're blessed to have the facilities that we have at Municipal, and we always try to do whatever it is that we can to try and reciprocate that. But in terms of the fundraiser that is going to be running in, I believe it's in June, it does benefit the entire athletic department, all of the sports. Obviously, football is very expensive. Pads, helmets, uniforms, and then you go to volleyball, baseball, softball, all of those sports have not gotten any less expensive to participate in. And I think that at the high school, at least, again, I can only necessarily attest for the golf team, but I try to make it as inexpensive for the player as I possibly can. And I think that the other sports try to do the same thing, but this is kind of an example of the athletic department trying to help all of the sports in this particular instance. So hopefully I answered your question, Mr. Freeze, in a roundabout way.
Add more light to it. Thank you. Yeah.
How many people do they usually get for the outing, do you know?
Oh, so last year I participated, so I wasn't really privy to the numbers. I want to say maybe 18 foursomes, I want to say, somewhere close to that neighborhood. So yeah, I mean, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60, 70 players at least.
What's the date?
That's a very good question. I'm not in charge of the implementation of it. Actually, I want to say it might be, do you have the date of the event in front of you? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the date in front of me. I want to say it's a Friday, and I unfortunately am not going to be in town for this particular one, but I do believe it is a Friday in June, if I'm not mistaken. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
I'll clarify one thing I said too about the Michigan City area schools and using their facilities for free. We're not charged their rental fee. We may have to pay the custodial fee when we use their facilities, but just for clarification. So.
And I'll tell you, as ex-coach for 32 years, you get pretty innovative how to get money. I mean, I had a program where you could sponsor game balls. Just something like that. Sell hot dogs. The kids come out, of course, they eat the profits. But it was, we sold soap, get a batting cage. It's just unbelievable what you have to do because the money's not there. So I think this is a great opportunity. And as Drew said, it's the entire athletic department.
Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would move that we accept the Michigan City Area Schools proposal for annual golf outing, a reduction of price to $20 per golfer.
I'll second it.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Sperling?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We wish them well. Good weather. All right, next is the Sheridan Beach Esplanade light removal request.
Yes, I had a request from a Sheridan Beach homeowner, Mr. Spaeth, that he would like to see a light pole abandoned. This is a light pole that's at the far east end of Fetters Alley, almost adjacent to the Sheridan Beach condominiums. This light pole has been broken off at the midpoint. I'm sorry, were you waiting to?
No, I'm so sorry. I thought I had this in order, but because I know I read it. I'm sorry, keep going. Keep going, I read it.
Well, quite simply, the issue here is that the pole has been knocked down. First, we thought it was the wind, but then after examination, we found that it was either by accident or vandalism. However, there should not be a vehicle in the Esplanade, and that's probably why the light is there. So I'm kind of on the fence as far as me recommending a light in that location. Larry and board, because this light does protect the Esplanade from vandalism. There are some possibilities we could look into. I am pretty sure that the light has been fixed. Is that correct, Mr. Volz? So NIPSCO did come out and fix the light. We wanted it done as soon as possible, even before this board meeting, because it was a danger with live wires on the ground. Pat, if you would like to come up and speak maybe a little bit about the hazards of the Esplanade in the dark and maybe give us an idea of whether or not that light should be abandoned or should not be.
Good evening.
Good evening. Patrick Volz, Maintenance Director. That light also serves as partial security for our bathrooms down on the east end of Fetters. Not comments from Chief Campbell, not necessarily directed directly at that particular light, but throughout the park was requesting more lighting for security. So without that lighting on that end, it would make that corner quite dark.
Would we be, could we consider if that light goes beyond its intent and purpose of protecting our property and keeping it safe? Is there any shield that could be put on it to help mitigate some of the glare that is going towards our neighbors?
So yeah, I can look into that. My point with the pole was to, at the point of being damaged, having at least the pole and wires redone where it was at no cost to us. We can always remove the light if need be, and then if we ever change our mind, revert back. I can look into some different forms of shielding. We have had more vehicular traffic going out on the beach as well, so that would also keep that path lit. I know Fetters and the Senior Center, we are getting quite a bit of vehicular traffic exploring the beach.
Questions from the board?
I think what you had said, I know that sometimes those lights, obviously they're for security, and I think that light is needed for that. But I agree with you that if you could find some kind of a shield, because I know that neighbors, they look and think, God, this light is driving us crazy at night. If there was some way that light could be directed more to our property than our neighbors, I'm sure you would appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Just a comment. I hope you err on the side of security. And if you can find a shield that would direct the light possibly away, that would be awesome. But just my thoughts of please don't take this thing down. If it's about security, let's err on the side of security.
I agree, especially since the chief recommended we put more lights there. I would go by what he says, because that's the purpose of the light, for security. And if our chief said that, I would go with that. But the shield, I'd be in favor of. I don't know how expensive that would be, and maybe they would be willing to pay for it if they want a shield up. But
yeah, again, I don't want to jeopardize the intent of the light, but if there's a way to do, I've seen duct tape put on a light. There's all sorts of creative ways to get it done.
Great. That holds the universe.
Is that approved by Janet? Probably not, right?
Any other questions or comments? Yes. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight. And please just state your name and address.
Good evening, all. Larry Spave, 130D Lakeshore Drive, resident of Dunescape, of course. I don't know if they were able to see the pictures that I had sent to you or not.
I don't think I was able to transfer those pictures tonight, Larry.
The thing about this light is it's just a few yards from our fence line, and our fence line is completely lit up with globe lights. I have a picture I could show you how that area is already lit. If I could.
Sure, yeah.
That's the like question.
Yeah. You'll show everyone else.
Yeah.
It looks like the purpose, I can see why the one light would provide more security than the other lights.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's the wooded areas is most of the area. And these lights were put throughout that wooded area. Well, a few years ago, when they got rid of the non-invasive trees, the woods used to come right up to the fence line. And they got rid of all those trees, and now the light's kind of sitting out there by itself. And we already have that area lit up.
Honestly, it's hard to tell. This picture was taken kind of before it's completely dark. Yeah. Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
That's the pole right there.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's hard to tell what the effects would be, just for me right now, of that light with it being completely dark, securing this area. I don't know what the other lights are on Fetters Alley there. I'd be happy to drive through there and take a look.
See, there are lights like by the restroom along the street. There's a row of lights there.
Yeah.
This, for some reason, they wanted to light up the woods. I imagine it was security.
Mm-hmm.
The globe lights bother anybody?
No.
No?
So I think the globe lights may be more ornamental than security purposes.
That's maybe what you want on the beach. I mean, if it was a less intrusive light, that would be.
And so this light, what you wanted to do is get rid of it because is it shining in, or what is the?
It shines right on the buildings there. And it bothers them. And actually, it has for the last.
Put it a little closer. Sure. I'm just trying to see what's on it now. If there's what's it called?
A shield?
Because I don't use those in my house. I just take those lampshades.
Lampshades. A few years ago, we went through this complaint, and NIPSCO came out and put a shield on it. And it's had a shield on it for several years now. But since the pole was knocked down, I thought it'd be a good idea, since it really wasn't serving a purpose, to get rid of the pole. But of course, this morning they put up a new light, and of course they didn't transfer the shield over the light.
So
It just went up today?
Yes.
Okay.
So would the shield be something
That would help. I mean, it would help. And
it would help? It would help, or would it suffice?
for anybody standing on their balcony and taking a picture of the lake in the daytime, you still have this light that you pretty much have to Photoshop out of every picture you take. So it's just not the. Really like to see that. I realize there's security questions, but and apparently a car must have driven down there in order to get the guy wired and knock down that pole. I don't think you could actually drive a car onto the beach from that area because the sand dune is too high there.
Larry, just so when you speak, can you go back to microphone just so it's recorded? Because no one can hear you other than the people in this room, unless you're on the microphone.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And actually, that's pretty much all I have to say. Is whatever could be done, it would be great if the bulb could be removed. Maybe if you could, like you say, drive by there and take a look and see what your opinion is. That's probably be the best thing. But at least we'd like to get a shade on there. That would be.
Is there any reason why NIPSCO did not put the shield back on?
I don't know.
Larry, thank you.
I can see where the lights on the fence row there light up the fence row, that the light in question is much higher, and so it would throw illumination out further. And I think Chief Campbell would enjoy that. Even though there's woods there, it would still be some light get through. So for security reason, I think we need that bigger light. But I would also like to see NIPSCO come back, or somebody put a shield on there to protect the homeowners.
Okay, we all understand that security is a big thing. I mean, we live right there, so we're in favor of security.
And we want to be respectful of our neighbors. So we'll try to do our best to accomplish both.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from the public?
Excuse me, would Pat do that, or would Ed? Who would? But that would be your, okay. He's going to look into it. That's fine.
All right, so either a motion to deny or we could table this and talk about it again next meeting. I think either one would be appropriate.
I'd like to table this till next meeting so we can look into a shield perhaps a little longer and see if that's possible. I would like to table this to our next meeting. Was it 25th?
25th.
Do you think that we should bring the chief in on this too, to talk about that light? Or is the shield the only option for that, or should we?
I don't know.
I mean, you talked to him, right? Chief Campbell?
Yeah,
Please.
like I said, when we spoke before, it wasn't directed at that pole or in that particular spot. It was fetters as a whole of trying to lighten up the dark areas.
Yeah.
So
I think maybe we would just task the park superintendent with doing an analysis and bringing this back to us next meeting.
Okay, that sounds good.
So we'll table it then?
Okay. Yeah, we already have a motion on the table, so a motion on the floor to table. Just looking for a second.
I'll second. You did motion, didn't you, Phil? Okay, I'll second.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurling?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, there's one other item on the agenda tonight. It's the Food Truck Festival license agreement.
Yes, the Food Truck Festival that we've had here in Michigan City and Fetters Alley in years past. Again, that was one that I have never attended, but I'm going to be very interested in if this is approved. This is brought to the agenda late. There was some correspondence that took a little bit of time. We weren't sure we would even get it here on time. However, if the board would allow this to be passed because of the date set, I would recommend that you do, because Mr. Alex Blackshire has all his ducks in a row. As you can see from the contract, there's one item missing, and that would be the title on page 8. However, Mr. Alex Blackshire would like to maybe speak about the festival.
Yes. First of all, good evening, President Latchford and ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Alex Blackshire. My address is 875 North Michigan Avenue, 31st floor, Chicago, Illinois, 60611. And as Mr. Shine mentioned, we're here to seek approval for season 6 of the Michigan City Food Truck Festival. It's a free event. This year, we're hoping to have 9 trucks are confirmed, ice cream, food, different delicacies to stare. There will be no alcohol served this year due to time constraints and to make the process easier. Our setup is quite simple. 9 trucks, light music, family oriented. And we've discussed it with Fire Marshal Bruder. He got his approval today. We spoke with Connie and submitted the event review proposal to Chief Campbell. In addition to that, insurance is there as well too. So the festival is pretty simple. This is a passion of mine. It's not for profit. It's a break-even event. I host one of the largest food truck festivals in America in Chicago. So it's something that is my passion. I enjoy bringing smiles and fun to people. So with that, are there any questions?
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
I remember attending the last one. It was in Fetters Alley. I don't remember how many food trucks, but I remember you could just go from one to the other and gain 25 pounds by the time you walked out.
That's quite true. Ice cream.
It was fun, yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, just real quick. Sure. How many Michigan City food trucks do you have signed up?
Sure. Give me one moment.
Then we have a few of them around here.
Surely do. I have that here. Bear with me one moment, please. Okay, we have, I look at it as area code 219. We have Cute as a Cupcake, Michelle Wainwright. We have Fat Guys Fries, Tara Pinkett. That's a 219 number. K&M Concessions, Kelly Thompson. So of the 9 that's there, all of them are Indiana trucks, are food trucks that are licensed in the state of Indiana.
Are you still taking?
We are, but the time is ticking.
I know some people that will like call you tonight.
Yes, they're more than welcome.
Get involved with this.
Absolutely, insurance, and they're more than welcome. Insurance is the most important piece. But of the 9 trucks that have registered thus far, all of them are from Indiana.
Okay.
I'm not for certain specifically which ones are from Michigan City, however.
May 28th. So it's Memorial Day weekend,
Yes.
right?
Proposed May 28th and 29th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And this is the second year? you're doing
This is the 6th year.
I'm sorry, you said that.
No problem. 6th year, 2 years delayed by the pandemic. We started in 2017.
Okay.
So real quick, and that's the 28th is right around the corner.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to get into this, what's the latest they could get in touch with you?
That would be what the health department requires 7 days in advance to have your documentation. So that would be May 20th would be the last day.
I know a few that are up and running in different locations around Michigan City. So they're going to have all of that. They'll be ready.
They're more than welcome.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who would they contact?
It's the information to register is on the website at MichiganCityFoodTruckFestival.com.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment that this is not his first year, and I know in the past it's been successful and pleasant without any problems. I wouldn't anticipate any problems this year.
Thank you. And I know we were racing to the finish line to get all the documentation in. He's ready to go?
Yes, as far as Eric is concerned and I'm concerned, and Pat Bowles is going to help with assisting with the picnic tables and the labor. We're all set.
Very good. Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I move that we pass the 2022 Michigan City Food Truck Festival request. And everything else is in order.
I'll second it.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Sperling?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Best of luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Hope you have great weather.
Thank you. I hope so too. Pleasure. Thank you again.
Great event, just giving more opportunities for people in Michigan City and visitors to enjoy their time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other items that we need to address in the agenda tonight? All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
Thank you. First off, I'm very disappointed to report that there are and has been a lack of interest in the City Kids Day Camp. If you would show a picture of this on the screen, you can see this is an advertisement. I want you to know that by all means, not due to any lack of communication or advertising on the part of the Park Department. So you can see here that these are the advertisements that we sent out in all the media. We made phone calls to all the universities. And this is an example of the pay for the director, the supervisor, and the camp leader. As it turns out, there are normally 75 kids in this program. We only had 16 applications or registrations. And here you can see that we also only had 4 of the leader applications, 2 counselors in training applications. So in a program that normally has 14 to 16 leaders to watch these children, we only had applications for 4 that were old enough to do so. So I want everybody to know that we're all very sorry within the Park Department administrative group. I know the board's disappointed, but we made every attempt to have City Kids Day Camp, and I'm very sorry that didn't occur. I would like to say something maybe in lieu of this City Kids Day Camp. I see that the YMCA is opening registrations now for at the beginning of the week of June 6th. for little kid athletes from ages 6 to 10, $25 if you're a member and $35 if you're a non-member. And this might be another avenue for the kids to spend their time this summer. So next I'll move on to golf. The leagues are in full swing. The South Course leagues are Monday through Thursdays. The North Course leagues are Mondays only. Would like to mention that the tree trimming that we approved here at you approved as a board, it was Green Leaves, did such a great job. The North Course is actually out cheering for the tree trimming procedure and work that was done. Part of the golf course project facelift is to re-asphalt. And here you can see the terrible asphalt in the cart path and the cart parking lot. In the meantime, until that project can be underway, Sean Smith and his crew patched that parking lot, and it looks very good. And the workers and the golfers are very happy about that. Golf course is doing well when the weather's good and not doing well when it's cold. So hopefully it makes a big turnaround. Here's a picture of the engineers at the splash pad with Mr. Volz and the mayor and some of these pictures. In my previous reports, I have mentioned that revitalizing the splash pad is a subject or project that is in the works. 4 meetings have taken place at the pad to study the mechanical workings and possibilities to bring back this feature with cost efficiency in mind. Meetings have included sanitary district, engineers from Gasvada, and that's a company we used to purchase these pumps that are in front of you right now in the original construction of this pad. Maintenance staff, Mr. Volz and Mr. Kaufman, were also very informative to these engineers so we can make some decisions on how we're going to operate this or get it going if we can at all. Hats off to Mrs. Kalinowski and the other staff members for troubleshooting the system and determining what components are still working in working order and which ones are not. After discussing the constraints of refurbishing this recirculating system, it has been determined by the engineers and the sanitary district that converting this pad to a freshwater system, it will be far less expensive to start up and to operate. Mr. Volz and the engineers are working to provide a concise analysis to explain and describe the comparison of the 2 types of systems, that is the startup cost comparison and the operational cost comparison. So I'll be reporting on that analysis and probably delivering that to you as soon as possible. The zoo, there's Toby the wallaby. The wallaby is healthy. That is the wallaby that was orphaned at the zoo about 2 months ago, I suppose. It's doing very well. It has a few more weeks of infant care. It only weighs about 1.5 pounds. Toby will be back at home at the zoo in 2 or 3 weeks. Attendance at the zoo, it has been steady when the weather is nice, just like golf. In fact, this is quite a statistic. On Mother's Day, there were 1,178 people that strolled through the gates of the zoo, including 324 moms that got in free of charge. Also, I'd like to report tonight on the youth leadership program you might be familiar with, where the policemen teach young students a few things about the world. It'll be on June 17th here in Washington Park. And also, I've been working with Officer Combs. There are plans to instruct students in this program to operate a moving vehicle that is a golf cart, which is in a parking lot of a restaurant, so they have room to work with cones and whatnot. They will be educated in the field of zoology and recycling by visiting the zoo and assisting with beach cleanup. All 3 of these activities will include lectures to the students. Youth baseball. On April 23rd, I attended the baseball camp held at the Michigan City High School, a very well-organized camp managed by our 13U and 10U director, Kerry Kraczynski. Assisting him with the instruction was high school men's baseball coach, Jeff Rachowski, and Kerry Kraczynski's sister, Sarah Kraczynski, who coaches girls softball. You can follow Facebook group page, Michigan City Park and Rec Youth Baseball League, 10U and 13U. It's a Facebook page by Carrie Krasinski, and it will let parents know the scheduling, the rainouts, and the cancellations, and any news regarding youth baseball. I would like to report that the high school coach has a pitching coach named Mr. Bevitori, and the young pitchers in the 10 and 13-year-old league are going to be coached by Mr. Bevitori privately at the high school. The youth games, except for 8U, the youth games start May 23rd, Monday through Thursday. They start at 6 p.m. out at Patriot Park. I would like to say that the 16U did not have enough interest, as well as City Kids Day Camp. We just couldn't put it together. There weren't enough ball players that registered, and we're sorry to see that, but we spoke with the coach of the high school, and he's going to work with us next year to see if there's somehow we can spark some more interest in the 16U baseball category. I'd like to report about Walker Street Park, a very interesting park when I visit. Dominique Edwards manages and operates the Walker Street Park Community Garden. And I would like to take a moment to share with the board and the public what a fantastic entity this is for our community. Since its inception in 2017, residents and students have enjoyed the process of learning the art of garden cultivation and management. Ms. Edwards, along with her assistants and volunteers, have impacted our community by accomplishing the following. In 2021, over 500 pounds of food has been distributed from that garden. A newly constructed 250-gallon rainwater collection system has been implemented and constructed. In 2020 and 2021, the garden hosted nearly 24 classes for students and workshops and events. And I attended one, and it was very interesting, and the kids learned a lot. Also, there are over 1,000 supporters via email and social media. By our next meeting, I will have a proposal to you, the board, illustrating some improvements to the garden for your review. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Is there any vandalism?
There has been a little bit of vandalism, as I mentioned, the telephone pole in Fetter's Alley since our last meeting in the Esplanade. We have spray painting on the doors at California Ave restrooms, and we have another broken window at the Gardena restrooms.
Quick question. Do we have any updates about park stickers?
Park stickers. Park stickers started Saturday.
All right.
From 9 to noon, and they're going to sell and give them out all this week from 9 to 4 at North Point Pavilion.
9 to 4 all week.
And park stickers will be also sold this Saturday from 9 till noon. And actually, Monday through Friday, started May 9th, they will be handed out or sold until September 2nd. Excluding holidays, from 9 to 4 on weekdays. Saturdays, it started, like I said, on May 7th through July 30th from 9 to noon on Saturdays.
At North Point Pavilion.
At North Point Pavilion. Bring your registration, not a copy, but the original registration.
Thank you, Ed. Any other questions or comments?
Just one comment. Ed, somebody had said to me, and maybe this is a silly question, but this individual was disappointed that the summer camp had to be canceled this year because of the lack of participation. And they said, well, if you needed to have something like 76 or 75 students and 16 directors to run this, if you said, well, there were 16 kids that applied, and if there were 4 directors, this person said to me, why couldn't you just run the 16 with 4 directors? And I said, that's a good question that I would ask the superintendent.
I asked the same question until I found out, and maybe I spoke a little too quickly, but the four applications we got for leaders were that third category, and they were too young to watch the kids themselves.
Okay, all right.
They were not the older of the 3 categories.
That answers that question. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you, Ed, for your report. The Planning Commission has not met since our last meeting, so we'll move on to Port Authority.
They had a meeting, but I was here. We had that meeting on Monday, and I talked to Sam Ferguson, and the next meeting, which would be Monday, would have nothing to do with us, but there'll probably be 80 voters there because of problems with the dock. So I will not be attending that one.
All right, and then the Zoological Society, Mr. Ryan.
The Zoological Society met last night. Superintendent Shin and I attended the meeting. The 5K run, Running Wild for the zoo is still scheduled, and that is on July the 10th, starting at 9 a.m. in the morning, right across from the zoo. And I had asked Johnny last night, I said, some people from out of town had asked me, how do you enter this? And he said, you can go to, and this is my visual. It is this is all in one line. It's https://HTTIMING.com. That is the timing. You can go to that up here. There it is. And they'll give you all the information. It is $24 to enter. And obviously you will get a shirt with that. And it's going to be a pretty neat thing. Hopefully the weather is good. And Mr. Freeze, I had talked to Johnny and I asked him if you and I enter this, if we could get some kind of special dispensation. And he said, everybody starts at 9 a.m., but the two of you can start Saturday. So I just in case you want to go ahead with that. So just wanted to let you know.
Well, we'll get our money's worth. It'll take a long time.
That's exactly right. Ed had already mentioned that there were 1,178 people in attendance for Mother's Day, which was wonderful. And you said, 324 moms? So that was mentioned last night. They also mentioned that they have this $50,000 Barker Enrichment Foundation grant that is going to the Big Cat project. And they have another grant from the Kessling Foundation for $10,000 that's going for other things at the zoo. They had talked about doing a fundraiser, and my understanding is there are too many technicalities, but they were asking if there's a possibility that you could add an additional 1 penny to each item sold in the gift shop. And some of the members said they heard this done before. And Laura, I don't know the legality of that or if you can even do that, but they said they're thinking about that. So we may have to run that by you and just see what the possibilities are.
If I can interrupt for a
Yes, sir.
suggestion.
Yes.
What we found to be successful in raising funds at the point of sale is asking if they want to round up to the next dollar.
Right.
And that's proven to be
Thank you.
successful.
Thank you, Mr. President, for mentioning that. That was also mentioned last night, and it would be an excellent idea if we could do that. Also, they okayed the purchase of 2 cameras. The American Zoological Society comes up with all of these requirements, and now there's a requirement that either you have to have a camera or you have to have a special person at an area where animals are in contact with people, which would be the petting bar. So they okayed the purchase of 2 cameras for the Red Barn, and so that should take care of that particular thing. Also, Johnny has been proclaiming all of the advantages of the zoo in Michigan City. He was at the Kiwanis Club giving a history, and he is now going to also make an appearance at the Lions Club. And if any other organization is interested in some of the history, Johnny Stimley can be contacted, and he'd be happy to come out and give a nice discussion about what is going on at the zoo and just some of the history of it. So that is what has been happening for the last couple of weeks at the Zoological Society.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon.
Yes, sir.
Attorney's report. Mrs.
Nothing to
Nierenberg.
report this evening.
Thank you. Any director's reports tonight? Thank you. That brings us to Department Finances. Back to Mr. Lang.
All right, Michigan City Park Department claims docket for May the 11th, 2022. Municipal, $61,276.59. Golf petty cash, $860.40. Zoo endowment, none at this time. Total claims of $62,136.99. I so move that we recognize the claims docket for May the 11th, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Payroll number 8 with a pay date of April the 22nd, 2022, a total payroll of $66,553.61. I so move that we recognize payroll number 8 for 2022.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
And Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Payroll number 9 with a pay date of May the 6th, 2022, total payroll of $72,157.48. I so move that we recognize payroll number 9 for 2022.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
All righty, under gifts and donation. Albano's Villa, donation for youth baseball team sponsorship, $350. Michigan City Zoological Society, zoo donation, share the care, $60. Michigan City Zoological Society, zoo donation, the Big Cat House, $110. Culver's donation, youth baseball team sponsorship / equipment, $2,100. Barbara Makazinski Trust, a zoo donation in memory of Tim Bennett, $200. I so move that we recognize the gifts and donations for Wednesday, May the 21st, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Under minor transfers, Zoo Fund 2056.504, a decrease in account number 411.014, seasonal wages, of $20,000, an increase in account number 411.016, overtime, $20,000. I so move that we okay this minor transfer of Zoo Fund 2056.504.
Second.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Freeze?
Yes.
Mrs. Spurman?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Under Zoo Endowment, none at this time. Under Board of Works, none at this time. Credit card charges, none at this time. That ends the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments from the public tonight? See none. Questions or comments from the board? All right, our next meeting is Wednesday, May 25th at 5 o'clock. Motion to adjourn?
So move.